Welcome to another What I Eat in a Day featuring a protein bar for breakfast, because today has been a lot. It's like 11:15. I haven't eaten and I'm just getting to the gym. Usually I'm here at like 7 or 6 in the morning, but my husband is sick and so today has been a little off. So we're gonna eat our protein bar, we're gonna go to the gym. It's all gonna be good. After the gym, we're gonna go grocery shopping. So, because there's like no food in the house. Yeah, there's no food in the house. My husband is sick. He was like, will you please make me soup? So, soup it is. We'll be sharing that recipe of my family's favorite vegetable soup for dinner. And probably my jalapeno cheddar bread. It's so good and it goes great with the soup. So that's the plan for now. I'm gonna eat this and I'm gonna go work out. So I'll see you probably in the grocery store. It's hot. Grocery store. Let's go. Yes, please. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Now for my post-workout treat. This is a, put the car in park so I don't die. This is a Trenta cold brew with oat milk. It's my favorite. I'm gonna drink this on my way home and then we'll get some lunch on because I'm starving. It's like 1:30 or something like that. 1:15. So, on my way home. For lunch, we kept things simple and easy, and I just made some lunch meat sandwiches. My husband had ham and cheese, and I had turkey, both on pumpernickel bread with spicy mustard, tomato, and arugula. Next, we are getting into the jalapeno cheddar bread recipe. Be warned, this bread is very addicting. You want to start by measuring 1 1/4 cups of warm, not hot, water and add a teaspoon of either sugar or honey to it. This will help to activate the yeast. Then measure 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast into the bowl of a stand mixer. Make sure your honey and your sugar are dissolved fully in the water and pour it into the bowl with the yeast. Then just wait until you see little bubbles forming. This means your yeast is good and active. Next, you want to add 2 1/2 cups of flour to the bowl. I used bread flour, which I think yields a better texture in the bread, but all-purpose flour works just as well, and it still tastes really good. Then add about 1 cup of freshly grated cheddar cheese and 2 to 3 diced jalapeños with the seeds removed. Then fit the dough hook attachment to the stand mixer and start mixing on a very low setting. I was on about 2 or 3. And then I realized I forgot to add the kosher salt, so I just stopped the mixer for a second and added 1 1/2 teaspoons of kosher salt. No harm, no foul, everything turned out okay. Then just let it mix until the dough starts to pull together. This is a very slack dough, so it will look very wet to start with. And here is what mine looked like. Once it is mostly together, just scrape down the sides of the bowl to incorporate any little bits. Now just slightly dampen a clean dish towel and cover the bowl and put it somewhere warm for about an hour. I usually put it in my oven with just the light on. So while the dough is rising, I'm going to get the soup going in my big soup pot because we love to have leftovers of this soup. You can really put whatever vegetables you want in this soup, so if you don't like something, you can leave it out, or if you have a favorite, you can add it in. This time I used bell peppers, onions, celery, carrots, which are my son's favorite, and mushrooms, which are my daughter's favorite, okra, because our garden is blessing us with tons of it right now, and about a half of this monster-sized cabbage. So once they're all chopped up, I literally just throw all the vegetables in the pot with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and saute them for just a few minutes. I think I did about 5 to 7 minutes, giving them a stir every now and then. Then I added some thyme. Then I just added parsley, garlic powder, pepper, and a large 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. 2 to 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then I added about 10 cups of water and 2 heaping tablespoons of better than bouillon vegetable base. This stuff is very salty, so notice I did not add any salt to this recipe. If you are sensitive to salt, you could use a low sodium or no sodium broth and add salt to taste or to your preference, or not at all. Then I added a can of rinsed and drained butter beans and a can of rinsed, drained kidney beans. This will add just a little bit of protein to the soup. And last but certainly not least, my soup secret ingredient, molasses. This just helps to balance and deepen all of the flavors. I added about a tablespoon, and there she is. Just let it simmer on low for about 30 to 45 minutes or until the vegetables are tender, and it's good to go. Okay, back to the bread. Once it has risen for an hour, take it out and preheat the oven to 460 degrees Fahrenheit and put a Dutch oven with the lid on into the preheating oven. When you look at your dough, it should look bigger than when you put it in. You are going to want to take some of your flour and dust a clean countertop as well as your hands with it. And then remove your dough from the bowl and dust the dough with flour and begin to pull and fold the dough on itself like so. When it starts to resist the folds, that is when it is done. It should only take about 8 to 10 folds. Then flip it on the seam side down and place it on a parchment paper. Cover it back up with the towel while you wait for the oven to preheat. Once the oven is preheated, take a sharp knife and score the bread with an X. This allows the steam to escape during the baking. Then add about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of shredded cheese to the top. Try and keep it out of the score marks because it will block the steam and you will end up with wet bread. Please don't ask me how I know this. Then add jalapeno rings to the top. Carefully remove your hot Dutch oven and lift the bread with the corners of the parchment paper and lower it into the hot pot. Put the lid on and then put it in the oven and bake it for 45 minutes total. At the 30-minute mark, you're going to want to go into the oven and take the lid off of the Dutch oven so the top of the bread can brown. And all this cooking made me a little hungry, so I just had a little hummus and pretzel crisp snack. After the 45 minutes are up, take it out and carefully remove the bread from the pot using the corners of the parchment paper. Place it on a cooling rack and remove the parchment. Let it cool most of the way before you cut the bread. This is one of my family's favorite recipes. It is so good. So for dinner, I just dished up some of the soup and I had some of the bread with a little bit of butter. Later that evening, I had a snack of Greek yogurt, hemp hearts, strawberries, and crushed brownie brittle. So good. I will warn you though, the brownie brittle is dangerously delicious.